This right here is something that we can use every day. And guess what? After today's workshop, you will know how to build one for yourself. Hey homestars, welcome back. Today is the second of our weekend workshop, and by the end of this session, I promise you, you will be able to make something that you can use, something you can make with your own two hands. We are making a storage crate. Believe me, it's pretty easy. As long as you get your pieces of wood, you are good to go. Now, to stick a pin, let's talk about what we will need. So yeah, I mentioned about the wood. We will need wood. I actually have a table saw that I use to cut these. This is from one piece of wood, right? And so you could go to your hardware store, buy yourself a piece of wood and just get them to cut it to the size that you want it to be, right? It doesn't have to be the size that I have here because really I am just using leftover pieces of wood. And if you're good at using a handsaw, you could even use a handsaw to cut it, right? Now I am trying to make it simple. And so the other pieces of wood that I will be using are these slats. And these slats are actually from strapping material that I pick up from the side of the road. I use it a lot around in my garden to do different things. And these ones are not stained, they're not treated. So I use the treated ones outside. I use these ones to do things like these, right? And so that is it for our wood. Then I have linseed oil because I was thinking about painting, which you could do if you wanted to paint. But then I decided I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use the linseed oil and just enhance the color of the wood. And then I have glue. Of course, we're going to need screws. So I have some screws here. We're going to need a drill with, I'm using this drill bit to bore holes, and then this bit that I'm going to use to screw. And we need some nails, a hammer, which is my little upholstery hammer I'm using here, and we need a brush to brush on the linseed or the paint. We're going to need cord, or we could use a handle, and we'll talk more about that later. We're going to need some sandpaper. I am using a very, very fine sandpaper because I'm not doing like a big sand in here. The most I'm doing is just the edges that are going to be on top and to the side, right? Because we don't want them to be too sharp, neither do we want the edges to be untidy. Yeah, and so you just take the finishing sandpaper and just make the edges neat. Neaten the edges, right? And by the way, I live in a farmhouse country home, and so I don't mind rustic finishes. I don't want it too shabby, but I don't mind rustic finishes. Let's just go ahead and wipe you off. For the slats, what I'm going to do is just sand the edge that's going to be shown. I try to keep things as simple as possible because some things are made way more complex than they have to be. Okay, so see, even this, how it's cut, it's fine. So I just go like this on the edge here and on the edge here, and we are good to go. Just do that on both sides and we are good to go. I don't need to do that. So our next step is to put our linseed oil on. Yeah, that's good. So we're going to start with these big pieces. And basically, I think I'm going to put, I think I have a glove here. Yeah, I'm going to put, I have these paper just in case I need paper. And I'm just going to put one hand of glove on that I'm going to use to do the dirty work. I'm just going to pour my linseed oil on, and then I'm just going to brush. And as I said, it's basically to enhance the wood. As I said, if I don't get the sides 100%, I'll finish when we're done making the storage unit. So I'm putting these over here because I'm going to go ahead and do the slats now. Check that out. They're all done. And because it's not paint, I don't have to wait for them to be dry. I can flip it over and keep going. If it was paint, I would have to wait. But I'm not going to wait. Hopefully I'll be able to share some of my DIY projects that I do on the outside in the garden with you guys this coming summer. Now give it some time to absorb itself in the wood, and yeah, then we'll move on. So see you soon. Okay, so we are on to the next step, and what I did to speed up the process was to just use this cloth here and just wipe the wood. If not, the linseed oil would be sticking around for far too long, right? And we're going to go ahead with the next step, which honestly, this step that I'm doing could have been done before putting the linseed oil on. And especially if you are going to paint the wood, I would suggest doing this step before painting, right? Because what I'm going to do is, this is where, this top part is where my handles are going to go. And so what I'm going to do right now is try to find the center of this block of wood. Okay. So this is the size from here to here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold the paper back to where I just made the crease. So I'm essentially finding the halfway point of this piece of wood. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold again. Then I'm going to open the paper. And I am going to put my handles just about, let's see what's reasonable. I'm going to mark 2 inches down. So that's 2 inches there. 2 inches here. Right. So let's put this on just like so. And then we're going to bore a hole right here at 2 inches and right here at 2 inches. This is a halfway point. So we folded just to find where to put our handles. And I am using one of these drill bits to put a hole in my block of wood. Before I do that, I don't want to bore my table. So I got to put this on here where I'm going to bore it so that I don't bore my table. Right? So let's put this back on. And I'm going to use this and I'm going to just go like this to mark the spot. I'm going to go like this to mark the spot. And then this one I'm going to have to bore too. It's the same size. So I'm going to line up this template and we're going to mark the center of our hole. Mark the center. There we go. And we're done with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill. This one. And whatever size, let's get this over here. We're good. Whatever size rope you are using for your handle should dictate the size bit that you use. Okay, now we do the other one. There we go, that's done. And that's done. There we go. So these are ready. Now, I am going to be putting, I'll take this bit out. And I will put this bit in. And I'm going to use my same piece of paper here. That's it. So we're going to put 2 screws in the base. So I am going to go just about a 1/2 inch in because this is 1 inch. We want to make sure that we're in the center. It's going to be right here. It's going to be right here. And I am doing this because whenever you are working with wood and you're screwing, doing projects like this, it's better to pre-drill a small hole so that you don't split your wood, right? So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to drill right through. I'm through. I'm through. So we're good there. And we'll do this. Okay. There we go. So we have drilled all the holes that we need to drill. I don't want to flip this again. Let's put this over here. So I'm just going to use this, clean up the area a bit. Okay. So not only are we going to screw, but we are going to glue, right? So this is going to be like so, lined up nicely, and this is going to be like so. Right, let's put this down here for now. And let's get some glue. Gorilla Glue. Okay, we need to change this bit. And we need to put this in. A square head. Okay, so I am going to use 4 screws. 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. No. This one. Okay, I'm gonna get the glue on. Just put a bead of glue across in the center. I don't want to get too messy. So that's it. Line it up nicely. And then I'm going to get my screw. And I am going to screw in. Do the other one. And I can't stress enough, make sure you pre-drill your hole. That is the best way to ensure that you do not split the wood. Okay, so now this side is done. I'm going to turn it around because I'm going to do this side. And I'm going to go ahead and put a bead of glue across it. There we go. So we are building a strong storage crate. When you glue and you screw, yeah, it adds to the strength. Okay, this one. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start lining up our slats here. I am going to put on the top one first, and then I'll put on the bottom one and then do the one in the middle. I've been trying to get the best angle because if there's one thing I'm lacking in this studio is good lighting. So I hope it doesn't interfere with what you guys are seeing. I hope. Drop it in the comments and let me let me hear if the lighting is disastrous for you. Okay, so now I have put the glue on and we are now going to be screwing this. We are going to be nailing. So I'm using small finishing nails and I'm going to put 2 nails on each side. So I'm going to start with one side. I've already put down my glue. And these strapping can be very brittle. So let me hope that none of it. Okay, that's good. And I can see a little glue squeezing out. So I'll just go ahead and wipe it. There we go. One more. Easy does it. So we're good here. And oh yeah, my glue is already there because I'm saying, oh, I should have put the glue on before. But I did put it on. So here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and nail this in. So I'm putting a little resistance on the front of the slat here, because whenever you screw anything at the bottom, the propensity is this wants to go in a little bit. So it wants to go towards the inside. So I just put a little pressure. That's one. There we go. So the first one is on. Now we are going to put the okay, so that's good. Oh, yeah, that's good. Now I'm going to do this one. I'm basically just going to put some glue in the middle here and here. There we go. A little. There we go. And then I want to show this side. So I'm going to go ahead and just eyeball it. The space is not that big, so it's easy to eyeball. There we go. So now this side of the crate is done. Wow, look at that, guys. Look at that. Stick with me now. Stick with me. The highlight is yet to come. Okay, so let's put some glue on the top here because we're going to put on the top slat first. Let's put that over there. And we're going to put this one here. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's good. Now put okay, there we go. Let me just close the glue because we are done with it. There we go. Now I'm going to use this one because it's very thick, and if anything, you will have like more pressure on the middle of the storage unit. So I think. Okay, good. All the slats are on, my friends. Check this out. Now that we have moved away a lot of what we were working with, it makes it easier to see our lovely crate that we just made. And to finish it off, we are going to use this cord to make handles. So I decided I'm just going to go with handles so I can hold them just like so. I have cut to the length and I've put some tape on the ends because the tape is going to allow the cord or the rope to go through so much easier than if it wasn't taped. Put this in and put this in. I am gonna go ahead and just put a lovely knot at the end of my rope, and I'm gonna leave the tape there. It doesn't bother me, so I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, so now we have knotted our rope. We'll have a lovely crate, my friends. This is your weekend workshop project. I enjoyed sharing it with you immensely, and I hope you did too. Drop it in the comments. Let me hear how you feel about it. Let me know if you're going to try it. And yeah, if you enjoyed, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and take good care now until I see you again. Actually, tomorrow, Sunday, we are going to finish hanging our creating our gallery wall with the template that we made. I am getting so much fun now sharing with you how you can pull your space together without having to spend a fortune. All you need to help yourself is the willingness to try. Catch you later. Thank you so much for being here.